This month, Liberty News TV once more takes you to the front lines of progressive politics. Galvanized by the horrors of Iraq, activists are taking to the streets and the halls of Congress. Their purpose, to let our leaders know that war, torture, and injustice will not be done in our name.
No more manipulation of national intelligence for political purposes. No more manipulation of our news media with false propaganda. No more authoritarian assertions of power by the President of the United States. No more silence by the American people.
Hello, I'm Liz Chambers. As you'll learn in this special report, being an activist takes guts. Leveraging change often requires making powerful people uncomfortable. At the same time, the mainstream media and their corporate advertisers too often ignore or simply downplay dissent. For example, last month's anti-war protest in Washington, D.C. drew about 500,000 people. The media treated it like a blip on the political radar.
I don't know how conscious it was, but what ended up happening was a kind of minimizing of the importance of a demonstration like this. Even though, for instance, the Washington Post had a terrific picture on the top of the fold, but then they say tens of thousands. And it's not just about numbers, but numbers do count. And I think that's really a shame, and we need to make sure the mainstream media hears from us.
For the millions of Americans who saw very little of this protest, a few highlights.
Where is the media? Has any of the major media showed up?
Channel 2.
They said they would, actually.
Yeah, right. That's
I guess I'm it. Public access, Portland, right? Channel 2. I'm going.
They mentioned it on the news last night.
What?
They mentioned it on the news last night.
Oh, good. They mentioned it. Honorable mention?
Yeah.
We're here because of the tragedy of adding 20,000 more troops in a hope to achieve something worthwhile. And so from the beginning, the war in Iraq has been a total failure and total waste.
The world is waiting for a new America. Americans are waiting for a country that not only says no to war, but takes the resources we're spending on war to create health care for all, jobs for all, education for all.
He said we were going to get proceeds from the oil that would be pumped back into Iraq so that it could be reconstructed. As a matter of fact, he told us he made these decisions. He said he is the decider. But you know what? He's not the decider. He is the liar.
We are here because we value compassion, truth, and human rights so much that we want the world to know how embarrassed we are, how sad we are, how outraged we are that our president and a complacent Congress, with the aid and assistance of a dismal mainstream media, have caused many
It's for those people up there who don't do nothing about it. When you're looking backwards a few years from now and say, my God, I was there, thank God there's something about it. We have mothers and fathers from Iran, Argentina, Costa Rica, California, Boston. We are from everywhere.
To say, and we have to say to Congress, enough is enough. Because he refused to lead his men into the massacre of innocent men, women, and children, and lead his men to their own deaths for corporate greed, the military commanders want to punish him, and punish him harshly for speaking out and saying that the emperor has no clothes.
Of course, as several veterans pointed out to us in D.C., these weekend protests have their limitations. Like a similar event last fall, this gathering took place when most politicians had left town. That's not to say the protest didn't boost morale and create connections among the faithful, but the real work of creating political pressure would not begin until Monday, after the throngs went home. On Sunday night, many of the nation's leading peace and justice organizers came together to discuss the protests and prepare for more aggressive tactics.
The big national mobilizations when people, like everybody here, go back home and keep doing the work. So we try to provide whatever help and assistance and resources we can with the nickels and dimes that we have available to do it with. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. This tremendous moment we're in, I keep saying this is the perfect storm for good and bad reasons. This tragedy in Iraq, and we have a president and vice president who's almost forcing us into a constitutional crisis between the will of the people and their imperial presidency. And we have an incredible movement with great expectations and ever-growing numbers. And now the hard work is going to begin on Monday.
Our project, Occupation Project, is about civil disobedience. It's about occupying someone's office and being willing to get arrested for it. Really being willing to do what you have to do for them to feel what it feels like to be occupied. Does this feel good? What does that make you feel like? Do you understand what occupation means? Because what we're seeing right now, we're seeing our elected officials say the most shameful things about the Iraqi. It's this new talking point I just don't understand, where they're saying, oh, they should be getting their act together, or they're being very ungrateful. Shocking to my being that they could say something like that, where we have just invaded. I was there before we invaded. We invaded innocent people that had no idea why we were dropping bombs on them.
You know, we have to now work harder. They will been working. It's been amazing journey for myself. As my wife just said that, you know, I'm trying to put my morning in the right way, you know, because I know it's moral for me to do this.
Alexander served 2 tours in Iraq, and he was killed by the insurgents who was fighting along with Mutara al-Sara and the old city of Najaf. You know, it's very easy for some people to say, well, you know, we are dishonoring the troops by speaking out. We have to speak now. The Constitution of the United States allowed for you to speak out. We have the First Amendment which allow you to do this, you know. And people have to remember that it's moral for everybody to protect the Constitution of the United States and also to use the amendments. That's what they are treating for. And also, you know, I learned from myself many years ago, it's not what the country can do for you, it's what you can do for the country. And this, I learned this for this great man, you know, and he spoke with truth.
Time and again, through U.S. history, there have been attempts to get to impeachment that have benefited this nation. When President Truman seized steel mills during the war and said, I have the right to seize factories because there's a war, and the Republican Congress said no and tried to impeach him, the Supreme Court listened. They got what they wanted out of the Supreme Court. You know, they didn't get to impeachment, but they kept the democratic standards of this nation, and incidentally, won big in the next elections. You know, when the Democrats failed to move impeachment during Iran-Contra in order to be safe and strategic and win the next elections according to this upside-down democratic thinking, of course, they lost the next elections. They also set some very unpleasant standards, you know, for this country, and failed to hold accountable particular individuals who have been haunting them now for decades as well.
Liberty News TV sent our own reporter to chronicle what happened in Washington the following day. Instead of amplifying the propaganda of the Bush administration, however, our embedded reporter joined activists from the Backbone campaign. These volunteers traveled to the nation's capital from several states to honor progressive politicians and chastise the so-called war Democrats. Here's a video diary of the day's events.
Are you Charlie? Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming.
Charlie, Dave.
I'm Barbara. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. My hands are cold. That's okay. We've met before. Nice to see you again. You're Evan, is that right?
Yeah.
Hi.
Diane, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again. I'm Diane. Hi, Tom. Tomorrow we're meeting at 8:30, right around the corner at 2nd Street at 212 Pete's Diner and Carryout. Just to tell you. Sorry. Okay. We made a whole bunch of calls to all kinds of people, and at first we zeroed in pretty much on HR 508, which is the Progressive Caucus's new legislation that's really very comprehensive, and it's called the Bring the Troops Home and Iraq Restoration Sovereignty Act.
What we're imagining is that we'll do them out, these two songs, we'll do them outside on the steps of the Capitol building.
Herewith, we the Backbone Patrol present him with the Spineless Citation. May a surge of public outrage escalate his anxiety until common sense and moral courage prevail.
The yellow one.
We're on our way to Representative Lynn Woolsey's office in the Rayburn House office building. Lynn Woolsey is one of the co-chairs of the House Progressive Caucus.
Whoa! Are we here? I want your hat.
Code pink.
Diane, hey, Dave. Join us and you can have
Come over and join us at 12, between 12:30 and 1 o'clock at the Park Building.
Hi, I'm Diane Whitney with the Backbone Campaign, and I spoke with Gina and Chris Shields Friday.
Okay.
We are here to present a spine thank you card to Representative Woolsey. I'm Diane Whitner.
Hi, Diane. Nice to meet you. The Congresswoman's in with another group, so it's going to be about 5 minutes, okay?
Thank you
but
very much.
I'm going to bring Chris in. He's our press secretary.
Very good.
Okay?
Thank you so much, Gina.
So what's the plan?
We
You
would
guys
like
have a whole entourage here.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
It's a spine. Excuse me.
It's fine.
Now,
Where would the background
Thank you.
we presented Representative Woolsey with a Backbone Award a year and a half ago. So we think it's worth thanking her several times, and we're so thrilled that she introduced and co-sponsored HR 508. That's what we'd like to thank her for today.
Absolutely. If you guys could hold on just 1 second.
Sure. I know she's got a group in there now.
Yeah, if you could just
Yep.
turn off the camera over.
I'm from Oceanside, California, and I'm here with a delegation of about 20 people from the San Diego area. And we're here to talk to the ones who are not doing what we think they should be doing, and to congratulate the ones who are. And we just came out of a meeting with Duncan Hunter's Chief of Staff. And the case we were making is this war has to end. And I ran for Congress against Darrell Lights in the 49th District, but Dave here was actually the person who spoke with them and presented her with a little pair of baby shoes with the name of a child in Iraq who died. And the request is that he keeps that on his desk as a constant reminder of the real price of this war.
One of the things I mentioned to Ms. Middleton is that, we're not representing the left of American politics. This is the center of American opinion on the war, okay? And we need to hold people accountable for what's happened, and moving forward, we need to defund the war and de-escalate the war and get our troops home and take care of them once they are home.
In recognition of your steadfast courage and moral fortitude in the face of a failed policy in Iraq, we, the Backbone Patrol, do hereby present you with the Spine Thank You card. Forthwith, may you surge in popularity and escalate your standing among your peers. On behalf of the majority of Americans who oppose the U.S. occupation of Iraq, the Backbone Patrol wishes to thank you for your courageous introduction of and co-sponsorship of H.R. 508, the Bring Our Troops Home and Sovereignty of Iraq Restoration Act. Thank you yet again for being a lawmaker with Spine.
Oh, thank you so very, very much. I'm honored and proud. Thank you. And we're going to take the very idea of where we are in Iraq to the primaries around the country and have town halls about that. Because nobody should be picking a presidential candidate without knowing absolutely where that candidate stands on this occupation. I was quite taken aback, shouldn't have been all surprised at how little, really little coverage the march got on Saturday, and how represented it was in the papers. And the New York Times didn't even... Page 20. Oh, was it page 20? I was so disgusted. I'm not a military expert, but I certainly can see the parallels of what he did in Iraq, and he's the same parallels going on with Iran.
Hi, we're the Backbone Campaign.
All right.
You have received an award from us. Thank you.
I love it.
You are a hero for us.
We're here to do extra thanks to all of you who've been great supporters.
Why can he have?
It's the Backbone Patrol.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
We're going up.
Are you still
Backbone.
going up? Are you actually videoing?
Yeah, and we're going to. Yeah.
We're
going to try to give Congressman Hoyer some backbone now.
Okay. Denny Hoyer,
Yeah.
have some backbone.
Good. That helps. Right on. Right on.
Ready? Let's go. Hello, we're looking for Representative Hoyer. Is he in? Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Well, that's not, we'd like to present him with a citation, a spineless citation, because we feel that with U.S. forces engaged overseas, the political temptation to respond to acts of violence with violence is strong. Regrettably, that temptation has proven too great for Democratic Majority Leader Steny Hoyer. Herewith, we, the Backbone Patrol, present him with this spineless citation. May a surge of public outrage escalate his anxiety until common sense and moral courage return.
Thank you.
Hello, we're here from the Backbone campaign, and we wanted to know if there was somebody that we could speak with in the office. We are here to give a citation to Representative Emanuel.
Actually, I'm in a staff meeting at the moment, unfortunately.
Well, okay, we would like to read this then, and then leave it with you to be given to the congressman. Okay? With U.S. forces engaged overseas, the political temptation to respond to acts of violence with violence is strong. Regrettably, that temptation has proven too great for Representative Emanuel. Herewith, we, the Backbone Patrol, present him with this spineless citation. May a surge of public outrage escalate his anxiety until common sense and moral courage prevail. And the citation is for excessive hubris, disregard for the will of the people, passive support of the Iraq occupation. And the remedy is to sign on to H.R. 508 immediately and bring the U.S. troops home. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks for your courtesy, too.
I want to go where there's no them there, there's no us there, somewhere we share what we're given. This ain't living, and I'm dying to go. It's more than intuition.
No, we don't, but we're with the Backbone campaign, and we would like to give the
strong
representative
suspicion.
And if we might go ahead and just present it to you,
Whole lot more
we would really
than
appreciate that.
On behalf of the majority of Americans who oppose the U.S. occupation of Iraq, the Backbone Patrol wishes to thank you for your courageous co-sponsorship of H.R. 508, the Bring Our Troops Home and Sovereignty of Iraq Restoration Act. Thank you for being a lawmaker with spine.
I think, very simply, grassroots pressure should be kind of put out in the following way. Call your member of Congress, call your senator, and say don't vote for any more funds for this war.
I think people are too quiet in America. More people need to be urging their legislators and decision makers and people who can help mold and shape public opinion, editorial writers, to bring this senseless, unjust and unnecessary and ill-fated war to an end.
Today we know the full extent of manipulation of intelligence that was used to start a war that was not defensive but offensive in nature. 2, the U.S. is not bringing democracy to Iraq. In fact, the U.S. occupation is denying the will of the Iraqi people. Iraqis have made it clear that no matter how much they are happy to see Saddam Hussein gone, they see U.S. troops as occupiers, not liberators.
Co-sponsorship of H.R. 508, the Bring Our Troops Home and the Sovereignty of Iraq Restoration Act. So thank you for being a lawmaker with us.
Thank you, sir. I will faithfully discharge the responsibilities conferred by this very magnanimous award. Thank you very much.
Consider yourself right wing. Consider yourself fathering fascism. We don't want to make you blush. It's clear which infidel you will crush. You're a Democrat, capital D-I. Have you noticed that those letters spell die? You can search, but it won't cover up the lie.
Which lie?
I don't know. There were so many. G.I. Joe! Consider yourself best man. Consider yourself part of the master plan. We don't want to make you whine.
You've got bigger things on your mind.
You're a Democrat, capital D-I.
Have you noticed that those letters spell die?
You can search, but it won't cover up the lie. Which lie?
I don't know.
There were so many. G.I. Joe! Consider yourself right wing. Consider yourself part of the problem. We don't mind telling you you got no spine, so consider yourself out of mind.
We're at the office of Senator Joseph Lieberman from Connecticut, and we're going to be giving him a citation for spinelessness. You ready to go in?
Daniel,
Yes, we're here from the Backbone campaign, and we wanted to deliver a citation to Senator Lieberman. And we wanted to know if there was a staff person who might want to accept it on his behalf. Unless, of course, he's here. Okay.
Can I ask what it is about?
It's a citation from the Backbone campaign.
Okay. And what?
And we are happy to give it to whomever on the staff would accept it and would deliver it to Senator Lieberman. There appears to be some conferencing going on in the background.
This marks the end of a wonderful day. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And let's hope that our actions and everybody's hard work and cold toes and fatigue wound up being a support to the hundreds of thousands of demonstrators who were here Saturday. He said that when he was reelected, what he would do was stop supporting the war.
And that's why we need to form a bipartisan consensus for victory in Iraq, for success in Iraq, which is still attainable.
Let's face it, Joe Lieberman is so far out of step with his party and with the American people that his party abandoned him. He's lucky to maintain his office after the last election. But Joe has great power. If he could only convert, understand that, of course, the war was a bad idea from the beginning, that the war must cease, and if he could support, perhaps even introduce a matching resolution to the House Resolution 508 that would bring the troops home and solve the war, then instead of a spineless, partyless senator, then Joe would be a hero.
And there appears to be further conferencing going on in the back room. Perhaps discussion about this group of people that who are standing in the office. And we'll just continue to wait and see if we can possibly deliver this citation.
Hi. Sherry Daniels is swamped at the moment. She doesn't know if she'll be available in half an hour or what, if you want to call back, but otherwise I'd be happy to take this for you.
Okay,
So we have something in writing with your contact information.
We're happy to do this. So if you wouldn't mind listening, we'll give Senator Joe Lieberman.
I just need to put these calls on hold. Is that okay? I need to send to.
This is a citation for spinelessness. With the U.S. forces engaged overseas, the political temptation to respond to acts of violence with violence is strong. Regrettably, that temptation has proven too great for Senator Joseph Lieberman of Connecticut. Herewith, we, the Backbone Patrol, present him with this spineless citation. May a surge of public outrage escalate his anxiety until common sense and moral courage prevail. And the citation reads, it is a description of the violation. He responds to acts of violence with escalated violence. And to remedy this violation, we ask him to apply common sense and moral courage and bring home the troops from Iraq. Thank you.
Smiling face, outstretched hand, through disputes.
Thanks for watching. Next month, Daniel Noel returns to take on the folly of living in a surveillance society. When corporations and government can track our every impulse, what's the real meaning of freedom? Find out next month. We'll see you then.
In the rage through the war, we have shared pain before. In our grief, when it's done, Urinin Hana, Urinin Hana, where the earth touches sky, we are born, we all die, where the clear waters run, Urinin Hana, Urinin Hana, when the light touches land, over sea, over sand, when each day